Listen to me carefully. Your dream is not going to wait for you. Most people spend their lives hoping, wishing, and talking about what they want, but never taking the steps that actually make it real. Today, I'm going to show you 5 proven steps that turn any dream into reality, and I promise you, most people completely miss third. That one step separates those who stay stuck from those who break through. If you're ready to stop waiting, stop making excuses, and finally start living the life you were meant to live, then pay attention because this is your moment. You see, the first step most people completely overlook is absolute clarity. And I'm not talking about just saying, I want to be successful or I want to make more money. Those are words. Those are wishes. A dream is not a dream until you've defined it so clearly that it scares you a little and excites you a lot at the same time. Most people wander through life hoping that somehow their desires will materialize if they just keep moving. But hope without clarity is like trying to hit a target you can't see. You may take action, but your energy scatters and the results are scattered too. I want you to really think about what you truly want, not what your parents want for you, not what society says is impressive, not what your friends think is possible, but what you in the deepest part of yourself truly want. Be ruthless in this. If your dream doesn't give you chills when you speak it aloud, it's not clear enough. You've got to get specific. Don't just say, I want to be rich. Define it. How much, by when? What does that look like in your life every single day? Don't stop at money. What kind of lifestyle do you want? What kind of person do you need to become to live that life? Clarity is power because when you know exactly what you want, your brain begins to focus in ways you can't even imagine. And here's the thing. Clarity isn't just about writing down a goal. It's about feeling it. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your dream. Where are you? What are you doing? Who is around you? How does it feel? Feel it in your bones. That emotion is the rocket fuel that will propel you through doubt, fear, and every obstacle that stands in your way. Most people never take the time to do this. They are chasing goals with no emotional connection, and that is why they quit when things get tough. You can't quit something you feel in every fiber of your being. When your clarity comes with intense emotional engagement, you start to see possibilities that others overlook. Now, let me tell you something else. Clarity also exposes the truth. It exposes how far you are from your dream, but it also shows you the path forward. When you define your dream in detail, you can identify the steps you need to take, the skills you need to learn, the people you need to surround yourself with, and the sacrifices you must make. Without clarity, your actions are like arrows shot in the dark. With clarity, every step you take, every choice you make aligns with a bigger picture. And when your actions align with your vision, momentum builds naturally. You begin to see doors opening, opportunities appearing, and solutions to problems that used to feel impossible. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. You will never outgrow your current level of clarity. If you think you know what you want, double it, triple it, expand it until it stretches your imagination, until it pushes you to a place where you must grow to meet it. Why settle for small dreams when the life you're capable of living is enormous? The universe responds to massive clarity, and it rewards those who refuse to settle for less than what they truly desire. When you decide with absolute precision, life rearranges itself around you. People, resources, and circumstances start to shift, not because life owes you anything, but because your mind and your energy have become so focused that the path forward becomes undeniable. And clarity is not just about what you want, it's also about what you will no longer accept. Many people know what they want, but they're still tolerating situations, habits, and relationships that keep them stuck. Absolute clarity forces you to define not only your goal, but also the boundaries you will not cross, the compromises you refuse to make, and the excuses you will no longer allow to control your behavior. When you make these decisions, you create a mental contract with yourself. This is the moment where intention becomes commitment, and commitment changes everything because it eliminates ambiguity and hesitation. Let me make this very simple. If you don't have clarity, you will get distracted, discouraged, and derailed at the first sign of resistance. Life will throw challenges at you, and it will, because every dream worth pursuing is guarded by obstacles. But when you have crystal clear clarity, those obstacles are no longer threats. They are signals, feedback, guides that show you where to adjust, how to improve, and how to push forward. Clarity transforms fear into focus, confusion into strategy, and hesitation into decisive action. Here's a small exercise I want you to do. Take a blank piece of paper and write down your dream in the most detailed way possible. Include the numbers, the people, the emotions, the experiences. Then write down why this dream is non-negotiable, why you must have it, what will happen if you don't pursue it, how will your life look in 5 years if you do nothing. Feel that pain and combine it with the joy of having already achieved it. This is the power of clarity. It is not passive, it is active. It fuels action. It energizes decisions. It aligns your subconscious mind with your conscious goals so that even when you sleep, you are working toward your dream. Remember, most people never get this far. They have vague desires, scattered energy, and no emotional drive. That is why they stay in the same place year after year. But you are not most people. If you are listening right now, this is your moment. The first step to turning any dream into reality is to define it so clearly that it becomes impossible to ignore. When you have that kind of clarity, the next steps become obvious. You know what to do, how to act, and when to act. You know what sacrifices are necessary, and you know the boundaries you must set. Clarity is the seed from which everything grows. Without it, no strategy, no action plan, and no amount of hard work will ever lead to extraordinary results. So I want you to commit right now, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now to get clear. Decide exactly what you want. Decide why you must have it and feel it as if it is already yours. The moment you do that, you shift from wandering through life to commanding it. You shift from chasing your dreams to becoming the person who naturally attracts them. And when you combine this clarity with the next steps, the emotional leverage, the identity shift, the daily action, you will discover that what once seemed impossible is now inevitable. Your clarity is the foundation. Without it, nothing else works. With it, everything changes. You know, most people think that dreams come true because they have a plan or because they work hard or because they're talented. And yes, those things matter, but there's one element that people massively underestimate. One factor that separates those who succeed from those who quit: emotional leverage. It's not enough to want something. You've got to feel it in your bones, in your gut, in a way that makes inaction unbearable. That's the power that moves mountains, that turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Without it, even the clearest goal will fade into another forgotten wish. Think about it. Why do people quit diets, quit workouts, quit businesses, quit relationships that could change their lives? Because their desire isn't strong enough. Because the pain of staying the same doesn't outweigh the comfort of not changing. You need to create a reason so strong, so emotionally charged, that giving up is literally not an option. This is what I call emotional leverage. You have to attach massive pain to staying where you are and massive pleasure to moving forward. When you do that, you create a force inside yourself that cannot be ignored. I want you to imagine your life 5 years from now if you do nothing. Where are you? What does it feel like to wake up every day knowing you didn't go after your dreams, knowing you settled, knowing you gave up on yourself? Feel the frustration, the regret, the heaviness of wasted potential. Let that pain sink into your body. Now, imagine the alternative. Imagine yourself 5 years from now having achieved that dream. Feel the pride, the excitement, the freedom, the joy of waking up every day living a life you once thought was impossible. Hold both experiences in your mind at the same time. This is emotional leverage. This is the push and pull that will drive you to action when no motivation exists. Most people, though, they think they can rely on discipline alone. They think they can rely on motivation alone. But motivation comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is often weak without a compelling reason. Emotional leverage is permanent because it's built on your identity, your desires, your fears, and your deepest needs. When your emotions are aligned with your goal, you don't have to force yourself to act. The action becomes inevitable because the cost of not acting is too high. You feel it, you know it, and that knowledge moves you. Now, I want you to really think about this. What is your why? Not the superficial, I want more money or I want to be healthier, but the deeper reason. What is at stake if you fail? What will you lose if you don't act now? Maybe it's freedom. Maybe it's self-respect. Maybe it's the ability to provide for your family, to leave a legacy, to be the person you always imagined you could be. Whatever it is, you have to feel it in every cell of your body. The deeper and more personal your why, the more powerful your leverage. It's like fuel in a car engine. The stronger the fuel, the faster, the further you can go. Without it, you're just sitting in neutral, revving your engine, going nowhere. Here's the truth that almost nobody tells you. Fear is a tool, and so is desire. You don't have to eliminate fear, you have to channel it. Fear of loss, fear of regret, fear of wasted life. These are powerful forces. But fear alone isn't enough. Desire alone isn't enough. They have to work together. You need the pain of staying where you are and the pleasure of achieving your dream to combine into a single driving force. When those two forces collide inside you, you tap into a level of energy and persistence that will not only carry you through challenges, but will actually make challenges exciting. Suddenly, obstacles are no longer threats. They are tests of your commitment, proof that you're moving in the right direction. Most people, though, never create this emotional leverage. They drift. They take half-hearted steps. They rely on maybe someday and I'll get around to it. That's not how extraordinary results are born. Extraordinary results require emotional intensity. It requires feeling so strongly about the life you want and so painfully about the life you refuse to live that you can't help but act. It's what separates people who talk about their dreams from people who live them. And here's something most people overlook. Emotional leverage is not static. It grows as you grow. Every time you take action, every time you face a challenge, every time you push through discomfort, your leverage strengthens. The pain of staying the same becomes sharper because you've tasted progress. The pleasure of success becomes sweeter because you've earned it step by step. That's why momentum is so important. Emotional leverage isn't just a feeling you create once and forget. It's something you feed every day with clarity, action, and focus. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you truly felt desperate to achieve something? I don't mean a passing wish or fleeting hope. I mean a deep, burning, can't stand it if I don't achieve this kind of urgency. That is the level of emotional intensity that moves mountains, and you can create it. You can do it right now. Sit down, write it out, feel it, visualize it, and make it non-negotiable. Attach so much meaning, so much personal weight that the only acceptable outcome is success. That's how you push past fear, past procrastination, past every excuse your mind can create. And when you combine emotional leverage with clarity, the first step we talked about, something magical happens. Your mind stops resisting. Your body starts acting. You start making decisions with confidence. You stop tolerating what doesn't serve your goal. You start attracting people, opportunities, and resources that align with your vision. Life bends toward clarity and intensity. You become unstoppable, not because life changed, but because you changed. You've turned desire into energy, energy into action, and action into results. This is not theoretical, it's practical, it's real. Every extraordinary accomplishment you've ever admired in anyone, anywhere, was fueled by this principle. The people who succeed, the people who inspire, the people who leave a legacy, they all created emotional leverage. They felt the pain of staying small more than the temporary discomfort of growth. They felt the pleasure of success so vividly that giving up wasn't an option. And now it's your turn. You have the power to do the same. You have the ability to attach pain to inaction and pleasure to achievement with such force that nothing can stop you. The moment you do this, fear becomes fuel, resistance becomes a challenge, and your dream becomes inevitable. This is how ordinary people break through limits, defy expectations, and achieve the impossible. Emotional leverage is the invisible force that propels dreams into reality. Without it, action falters. With it, life bends to your will. Here's the part most people completely miss when it comes to turning dreams into reality. And this is why so many people get stuck chasing goals and never actually catching them. It's not about more effort. It's not about more motivation. And it's not about trying harder. It's about identity. You see, most people operate their entire lives from who they think they are right now, from the version of themselves that exists in their comfort zone. And as long as that version of you stays in control, your results will never change. You cannot achieve a goal if your identity contradicts it. You cannot become a millionaire if, deep down, you see yourself as someone who never has enough. You cannot have a fulfilling relationship if you still believe you are unworthy of love. Your results are a reflection of who you believe you are, not just what you do. Now, let me be very clear about this. Shifting your identity doesn't mean faking. It doesn't mean pretending. It means becoming. It means deciding consciously that the person who achieves this dream is already here, already inside of you. You take the qualities, the habits, the mindset, and the values of that person and start embodying them today. If your dream is financial freedom, then you must think, act, and make decisions like someone who is already financially free. If your dream is peak health, then you have to live like a healthy person, not just think about being healthy. This is the secret most people overlook. They chase dreams as if they are trying to force a future to exist outside of themselves. But the truth is, transformation begins on the inside. You become, and then everything outside aligns. Here's why this works. The human mind is designed to act in alignment with identity. If you see yourself as not capable, you will subconsciously sabotage your own efforts. You'll find excuses, distractions, and failures to reinforce the story you tell yourself. That's why most people quit before they even start. But the moment you shift your identity, the actions follow automatically when you see yourself as someone who never quits, someone who takes responsibility, someone who achieves what they set out to achieve. Your behaviors change without conscious effort. You stop chasing results, you start living them. You stop asking, how can I make this happen? And instead ask, what would the person I am becoming do right now? Let me give you a simple example. If you want to run a marathon, you can read every book, watch every video, and buy every piece of equipment. But until you start seeing yourself as a runner, someone who trains daily, who pushes through pain, who wakes up early for practice, you won't cross that finish line. You have to internalize the identity. You have to feel it in your body, in your thoughts, in your lingua, and in your actions. You don't become a runner by running once or twice. You become a runner by committing to the identity every single day. The same principle applies to any dream, any goal, any life you want to create. Now, I know this is hard for some people to accept because we live in a culture that glorifies effort over transformation. We think, I'll just try harder, or I'll just push through and that will be enough. But here's the truth. Trying harder without becoming someone capable of sustaining success is like building a house on sand. It looks good for a while, but the first storm will wash it away. Identity is the foundation. Without it, nothing lasts. With it, everything becomes inevitable. You don't need more energy, you need to become energy itself. You don't need more time, you need to become disciplined and resourceful. You don't need more luck, you need to become the kind of person who attracts opportunities naturally. And here's the catch. Shifting your identity is not instantaneous, but it is intentional. It doesn't happen by accident. You have to consciously practice being that person. You have to speak like them, act like them, think like them, make decisions like them, and even feel like them. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, awkward, even fake. That's normal. Growth is always uncomfortable. But the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you no longer have to think about it. You no longer have to try to be someone new. You simply are that person. And once that happens, your results align effortlessly with the new identity. Here's another thing most people miss. Your identity is not just about what you do, it's about what you allow yourself to believe is possible. People fail to achieve their dreams not because they lack skills or opportunities, but because they lack the belief that they can. And belief is born from identity. When you become someone who believes in their ability to succeed, you act with confidence. You take risks, make decisions quickly, and persist through obstacles. You no longer second guess yourself. You no longer wait for external validation. You become self-sufficient, resilient, and unstoppable. Think about it. How many people chase goals while still believing deep down they are not good enough or not deserving? They may achieve some temporary success, but it will never feel complete. They will always find a way to self-sabotage because their identity contradicts their dream. And here's the beautiful part. You can rewrite your identity at any time. You can decide who you want to be, start embodying that person today, and everything in your life begins to align. The results will follow. It's not about the dream first, it's about the person first. Become the person and the dream becomes inevitable. Most people focus on tactics. They focus on to-do lists, strategies, and planning. And while those things have value, they are secondary. Identity is primary. Change your identity, and every tactic, every strategy, every step becomes easier, more natural, and more powerful. You don't just learn new behaviors, you become the kind of person who naturally executes them without struggle. You don't just pursue your dream, you attract it. Your actions are no longer forced, they flow from the person you are becoming. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to take a deep look at the dream you want, the life you want, the results you want. Then ask yourself, who do I need to become to live this life? What qualities, habits, beliefs, and mindset does that person have? And start practicing being that person today. Make small decisions every day that reinforce the identity. Speak like them, think like them, act like them, feel like them. Over time, you will notice something extraordinary. Your actions become effortless, your decisions become aligned, and your dream stops feeling like a distant goal and starts feeling like a natural extension of who you are. Identity is the bridge between desire and reality. Dreams are not achieved by willpower alone. They are achieved by becoming the person who naturally achieves them. Once you grasp this, nothing can stop you. You stop chasing results. You start creating them. You stop hoping. You start living. You stop imagining. You start embodying. And that, my friend, is the true secret that most people completely miss. Let's talk about action. I mean real, relentless action. Not the kind where you sit around planning, thinking, and waiting for motivation to hit. Most people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect set of conditions before they start moving. And while they wait, life passes them by. Let me tell you something. The world does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who take action. Dreams do not respond to desire alone. They respond to movement. And the most powerful action is imperfect, relentless, and consistent. That's the action that separates the people who succeed from the people who only talk about success. You see, too many people think they need to be ready, prepared, and confident before taking a step. But the truth is, you will never feel 100% ready. There will always be doubts, obstacles, and reasons to hesitate. The difference between those who achieve and those who don't is this. The achievers take action even when they are not ready. They move forward in spite of fear, uncertainty, and imperfection. They understand that action is the great equalizer. You can't predict every outcome, you can't control every variable, but you can decide to move forward right now. And the more action you take, the more momentum builds and the more the path clears in front of you. Think about it like this. If you are rowing a boat against a strong current, waiting for the water to calm will get you nowhere. You must start rowing, even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable. Each stroke takes you closer to your destination. Some strokes will be awkward, some will miss the mark, and some will feel wasted. But the movement itself generates momentum, and momentum is unstoppable. Action compounds, small steps repeated every day create extraordinary results over time. And this is why the people who wait for motivation are doomed to stay stuck. Motivation is fleeting, but momentum lasts. Now, let me give you a secret. Most people ignore imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. Waiting for everything to align, for the stars to be in the right position, for the conditions to be flawless is a trap. You can plan and plan, you can strategize endlessly, but until you act, nothing happens. Action generates feedback, reveals opportunities, and uncovers solutions that you could never see from sitting still. Every successful person you admire started by doing something imperfectly, learning from it, adjusting, and then taking the next step. That's how progress works. That's how dreams move from imagination into reality. Here's the reality most people don't face. Fear will never go away on its own. Doubt will never leave unless you confront it. You can sit around hoping that you'll feel read someday, but that day may never come. The only way to overcome fear is to act in spite of it. Action is the antidote to fear. Every step you take, no matter how small, chips away at doubt. Every time you act, you build confidence, skill, and momentum. Action creates proof. Proof that you can, proof that you are capable, proof that the dream is within reach. Without action, all the clarity, all the emotional intensity, all the identity shifts in the world mean nothing. They remain ideas in your head, wishes in your heart until you move. And let's be honest, most people sabotage themselves because they underestimate the power of small, consistent steps. They look at the massive end goal and feel overwhelmed. They think, how can I possibly achieve this? I'll never get there. But dreams are built on incremental progress. You don't have to take a giant leap right away. You just have to take the next step, then the next, then the next. Action compounds over time. A single decision to move forward today sets off a chain reaction. It builds confidence, uncovers opportunities, and brings you closer to your goal than you ever imagined. The key is consistency. Momentum is a result of repeated action, not occasional bursts of effort. Here's another thing that most people miss. Action teaches you more than planning ever will. When you move, you encounter real feedback. You learn what works, what doesn't, what you need to improve, and where you are strong. Waiting for perfect conditions, waiting for the perfect plan, leaves you blind. Action illuminates the path. It turns theory into experience, ideas into results, and dreams into reality. The people who act fast, learn fast, and adjust fast are the people who achieve extraordinary results. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, the bridge doesn't exist. Now, I want you to consider this. How many times have you stopped yourself from taking action because you were afraid of failing, of looking foolish, or of making mistakes? Every time you hesitate, every time you overthink, every time you delay, you are choosing inaction over progress. But here's the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every step, even the imperfect ones, even the ones that don't go as planned, teaches you something invaluable. Every mistake is a lesson. Every misstep is a guide. And the people who achieve their dreams understand this. They embrace action, embrace mistakes, embrace learning, and never stop moving. Most people want the dream without the effort, the results without the work, the outcome without the movement. That's why they stay stuck. But the reality is simple. Dreams respond to action, not hope. They respond to momentum, not perfection. They respond to those who are willing to take the first step, then the next, regardless of fear, doubt, or uncertainty. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. The path becomes clear as you walk it. The doors open as you knock. The results come as you act. And here's the beautiful part. Action transforms you in ways nothing else can. Every time you push yourself, every time you take that step when you don't feel ready, you become stronger, braver, and more capable. Action builds character, confidence, and momentum. It rewires your brain, shifts your beliefs, and reshapes your identity. When you act relentlessly, you start seeing yourself as someone who can achieve anything. That's when dreams stop being distant fantasies and start becoming inevitable realities. So here's what I want you to do today. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for permission. Decide right now to take the next step towards you. Dream. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be massive. It just has to happen. One action leads to the next. Momentum builds. Confidence grows. The path appears. And before you know it, you are unstoppable. This is the power of relentless, imperfect action. This is the key to turning dreams into reality. Now let's talk about proximity, because this is something almost nobody fully understands. Your environment, the people you spend time with, and the influences you expose yourself to are far more powerful than any strategy, any plan, or any goal-setting session you can do. Most people focus on what they think they're doing wrong, on skills or on effort, but the truth is, your results are shaped by who and what you surround yourself with. If you want to achieve extraordinary success, if you want to turn your dreams into reality, you must raise the standard of everything you see, hear, and experience. Think about it. The average person wakes up, scrolls through social media, listens to negative news, and interacts with people who reinforce their limitations. Day after day, week after week, year after year, and they wonder why their results never change. Your environment either lifts you up or keeps you stuck. You can have all the clarity, all the emotional leverage, and all the action in the world, but if your environment is dragging you down, progress will be slow at best and blocked at worst. You must intentionally curate your environment to accelerate your growth. Start with the people around you. Who do you spend most of your time with? Are they dreamers or doubters? Do they inspire, challenge, and push you to level up, or do they reinforce your fears and limitations? You cannot rise above the standard of the people you spend the most time with. This is not theory, it's fact. Energy is contagious. Beliefs are contagious. Habits are contagious. If you want to grow, you must surround yourself with people who have achieved what you want to achieve, who are committed to their own growth, and who will hold you accountable to your highest standards. And it's not just about physical proximity, it's also about what you see and hear. The content you consume shapes your thoughts, your beliefs, and ultimately your results. Are you feeding your mind with inspiration, knowledge, and strategies that elevate you, or are you drowning it in negativity, distractions, and excuses? Your mind is like a garden. If you plant weeds, you'll get weeds. If you plant seeds of growth, learning, and positivity, you'll get results. You must be intentional about the information, stories, and perspectives you allow into your life because they directly shape your actions and your beliefs. Here's something most people ignore. Proximity accelerates learning and action. When you are around people who are already achieving at a high level, you learn faster, act faster, and think bigger. You begin to see possibilities that you never imagined. Opportunities appear that would have been invisible to you before. Your standards rise automatically because you are now comparing yourself to the people who already operate at a higher level. Proximity changes your mindset, which changes your behavior, which changes your results. And here's the truth. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I know it sounds simple, almost too simple, but it is powerful beyond measure. The people around you either inspire you to rise or reinforce reasons to stay small. If you want to turn your dreams into reality, you must actively seek out mentors, peers, and communities that will lift you, challenge you, and push you beyond what you thought was possible. Don't settle for comfort. Surround yourself with people who stretch you, who hold you accountable, and who believe in your potential even when you doubt it. Your environment also includes the places you go and the habits you practice. Are you in spaces that inspire creativity, focus, and growth, or are you in spaces that encourage distraction, procrastination, and mediocrity? Small changes in environment can lead to massive shifts in results. Rearrange your surroundings to support the person you are becoming. Eliminate distractions, remove negative triggers, and intentionally create spaces that reinforce high performance, clarity, and focus. When your environment supports your goals, the effort required to succeed decreases dramatically. You start acting in alignment with your dreams almost automatically. Another thing most people don't realize, proximity can give you shortcuts. When you are around people who have achieved what you want, you don't have to figure everything out by trial and error. You get access to insights, strategies, and knowledge that would have taken years to discover on your own. Mentorship, collaboration, and learning from the right people compress time. Success becomes not only possible, but inevitable because you are standing on the shoulders of those who went before you. your network, your relationships, and your exposure to high-level thinking are catalysts that accelerate your results. Now, I want you to think about what you tolerate in your environment. Most people are surrounded by people who complain, environments that drain energy, and content that reinforces limitations, and they wonder why they feel stuck. If you want to create extraordinary results, you must raise your standard for what you allow into your life. Decide today that you will no longer settle for people, environments, or inputs that do not elevate you. It's not selfish, it's strategic. Your dreams deserve an environment that matches their magnitude. Ease the powerful part. When you consciously curate your environment, your behavior changes almost automatically. When you spend time with high achievers, your mindset shifts. You start thinking bigger, acting bolder, and refusing to accept excuses. When you consume empowering content daily, your beliefs expand, your focus sharpens, and your energy increases. When your environment is aligned with your goals, action becomes easier, decision-making becomes clearer, and your path forward is illuminated. Proximity is not just support, it's a multiplier for your potential. And here's the thing most people miss. Raising your environment doesn't mean abandoning everyone or everything. It means being intentional. It means choosing to spend more time with those who inspire and challenge you. It means seeking mentorship, joining communities of high performers, and consuming content that stretches your mind. It means eliminating unnecessary distractions and influences that keep you small. Every choice you make about your environment compounds over time. Small, deliberate changes today create massive shifts tomorrow. So ask yourself this: who are the people, what are the influences, and what are the environments that are shaping your life right now? Are they helping you grow, or are they holding you back? The people you meet, the places you go, and the inputs you allow into your mind are either accelerating your dreams or slowing them down. The choice is yours. Proximity is power. It shapes your identity, your habits, your mindset, and your results. If you want to achieve extraordinary success, you must consciously surround yourself with what elevates you, challenges you, and inspires you to become more than you are today. Your environment is not just a backdrop to your life. It is a tool, a lever, and a catalyst for growth. Use it wisely, shape it intentionally, and watch how quickly your results transform. When you are around the right people, in the right spaces, consuming the right information, the person you are becoming naturally aligns with the life you want to live. Everything you've learned, the clarity, the emotional intensity, the identity, the action, now accelerates when combined with an environment that supports and amplifies it. Proximity is the silent force that makes extraordinary results inevitable. Now, let's get brutally honest, because this is the part most people cannot stomach. Dreams don't die because you lack talent, ideas, or even motivation. They die because of comfort. The moment you allow comfort to rule your decisions, the moment you convince yourself that a backup plan is safe, you are unconsciously giving yourself permission to fail. Most people will never reach their full potential because they always have an escape hatch. They say, if it doesn't work out, I'll just do this instead, or I'll have plan B, plan C, plan D. And I want you to hear me clearly. As long as you keep a safety net, the intensity required to push through fear, resistance, and challenges will never be there. True breakthroughs require commitment over comfort, burning the backup plan, and refusing to tolerate anything less than extraordinary. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you held yourself back because you wanted to play it safe? You've chosen comfort over growth, convenience over progress, ease over excellence, and look where it got you. Comfort is a killer disguised as peace. It seduces you with temporary relief and lulls you into mediocrity. Every time you allow comfort to guide your choices, you are effectively choosing a life smaller than what you are capable of. But here's the truth. The life you dream of, the life you deserve, the extraordinary results you are capable of achieving, they are always on the other side of discomfort. They require risk, intensity, and commitment that can only come when you remove the safety net. Burning the backup plan doesn't mean being reckless. It means eliminating the excuses and safety nets that keep you from giving your absolute best. When you remove the possibility of quitting, when you make failure not an option, something extraordinary happens inside you. Your mind stops negotiating. Your energy stops being divided. Your focus becomes laser sharp. You stop tolerating distractions, excuses, and delays. When quitting is no longer possible, your resourcefulness, creativity, and determination skyrocket. Suddenly, obstacles no longer feel intimidating. Suddenly, challenges feel like invitations to grow. Suddenly, nothing stands in your way because you've made success the only path forward. And here's what most people miss. The level of commitment you're willing to make determines the magnitude of your results. Half-hearted commitment produces half-hearted results. Partial intensity produces partial breakthroughs. Extraordinary outcomes require an extraordinary decision, a decision to give everything you have, to step fully into your potential, and to refuse to accept anything less. When you commit at this level, your energy changes, your actions change, your focus changes, the world begins to respond to you because you have made an unshakable declaration to yourself and to life. Failure is not an option, and success is inevitable. Now, I want you to think about the excuses you've been holding on to, the contingency plans that have been quietly keeping you safe, the reasons you've been allowing to limit your intensity. What would happen if you removed them? What would happen if you stopped hedging your bets, stopped negotiating with yourself, and stopped giving yourself an escape route? You would act with a level of intensity and urgency you have never experienced. You would tap into reserves of creativity, resilience, and courage that were always inside you but dormant because comfort had been allowed to dominate your decisions. You see, intensity is created when there's no alternative. It's the pressure of having only one acceptable outcome that forces you to rise to your highest level. And let's be honest, most people fear intensity. They fear discomfort. They fear taking ownership of their life in such a raw and uncompromising way. But here's the paradox. The same intensity that feels frightening at first is exactly what creates freedom, power, and results. Comfort might feel safe, but it is a slow death of your potential. Intensity might feel uncomfortable, but it is the life force of transformation. To achieve your dreams, to create a reality bigger than you've ever imagined, you must be willing to feel discomfort, embrace uncertainty, and commit fully with no backup plan, no hedge, no safety net. Here's the thing about burning the backup plan. It clarifies priorities. When you know there is no alternative, decisions become obvious. Actions become decisive. Time is no longer wasted. Every choice, every action, every thought aligns with the goal. You stop tolerating distractions, procrastination, and excuses. Your environment, your habits, and your focus become perfectly tuned to producing results. And here's the magic. The intensity of commitment creates momentum that becomes unstoppable. Once you remove the option to quit, your results accelerate faster than you ever thought possible. Most people never experience this level of intensity because they are addicted to comfort. They settle for good enough instead of extraordinary. They tell themselves that it's safer to keep a fallback plan, safer to wait, safer to hedge their bets, but the price of comfort is always the same: a life of mediocrity, regret, and untapped potential. The people who achieve their dreams are not the smartest, not always the most talented, but they are the ones who burned their backup plans. They decided that their dream was non-negotiable. They chose commitment over comfort, intensity over ease, and action over hesitation. And that single decision made all the difference. Let me tell you something else. When you commit fully, when you refuse to allow a safety net, the universe responds. Resources appear. Opportunities appear. Solutions that were invisible before suddenly become clear. You start attracting the people, the ideas, and the circumstances that align with your dream. Why? Because intensity resonates. Commitment resonates. When you step fully into your power and refuse to accept mediocrity, life bends to meet the energy you are projecting. You don't create miracles by chance. You create them through relentless, uncompromising commitment. And here's the truth most people miss. Comfort is seductive because it's easy, but it is always temporary. The joy of avoiding discomfort fades fast, but the consequences of inaction last forever. Every day you choose comfort over intensity, you postpone the life you deserve. You postpone the dream that is waiting for you. You postpone your own greatness. But the moment you choose commitment over comfort, you tap into a force that is unstoppable. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop tolerating anything less than what you are capable of. You step fully into your power, your potential, and your purpose. So here's the challenge I want you to take today. Look at your life, your goals, and your dreams. Identify every backup plan, every safety net, every excuse you've been using to keep yourself safe. Then make a choice. Decide that quitting is no longer an option. Decide that comfort will not guide your decisions. Decide that your dream is non-negotiable and that you will pursue it with every ounce of energy, focus, and intensity you have. When you make that decision, something extraordinary happens. You become unstoppable. You stop tolerating mediocrity. You stop hesitating. You stop compromising. You stop letting fear dictate your actions. And the life you have been dreaming about becomes inevitable. Commitment over comfort. Burn the backup plan. Refuse to tolerate anything less than extraordinary. That is the force that turns dreams into reality. That is the force that separates those who achieve from those who only dream. The moment you make this choice, the energy shifts, your actions accelerate, and the impossible becomes possible.